Hey everyone, my guest today is Dennis A. Brennan. Dennis is an author, attorney, and historian focused on the intersection of politics, justice, and history. In his latest book, DC Swamp Strikes Back: Aaron Burr, Donald Trump, and Their Similar Battles, Dennis examines how narratives of political figures shift over time and what those shifts reveal about the current political climate. Welcome to the show, Dennis. I want to thank you for coming back.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I hope this goes as well as the last one did.
Yes, I'm confident it will. So, all right. So, would you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Dennis Brennan. I think the first time I was on, we spoke. I'm a new author. I wrote a book comparing Donald Trump and Aaron Burr and the troubles they both had. It's called DC Swamp Strikes Back: Aaron Burr, Donald Trump, and Their Similar Battles. That's been out for over a year now. I've completed a second book. It's hopefully going to be released September 1st or 2nd. Waiting to hear on that, but it's within editing right now. I'm an attorney by trade. It's been my real living. Also been dabbling in podcasting a little bit.
Yeah.
I think just a little bit showing up on some of the podcasts, and I started doing my own, although I haven't worked out the kinks of how it's actually going to look. So I think all we've been doing is putting out clips and not the whole show. Perhaps I'm not ready for prime time yet.
Sounds good. I'm going to have to check that out because I've noticed that you were on social media a little bit more than usual. So I think I saw you on X. So I'm going to have to see if I can catch some of those clips on there.
Yeah, we've been active on X and on Facebook.
Okay.
I am on Truth Social, but hardly. I always forget to go on there or post anything there.
Yeah.
And, between myself and I have one other person posting stuff, mostly the reels, because I'd be unable to post anything myself like that. But I think the idea is to be more involved out there, raise some awareness so that when people ask about the next book, they might actually buy it. And
Yeah. So I used to be on Truth Social as well, and I didn't delete my account, but I wasn't getting any views or anything on there. So I'm like, maybe I'm not using it right. I don't know, but I just deleted it from my phone and I can still access it from my computer. But
it's interesting you say that because I often wonder when I'm on there, like, am I doing it right? I just treat it like it's X. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure it is. It seems maybe there's less people back and forth active. I mean, the good thing about X is you can jump into any conversation and make your point or argue with someone if you choose. There's a lot of that going on. And they seem, the algorithm or whatever is, yes, you can get the people who you're following, but you can also get, I think it's called For You. I'm not sure how they decide what I want to see, but I do tend to want to see it, so someone knows me.
Yeah. I think I'm on the For You more than I'm actually on the following page, just so you can see new content. But once in a while, I'll go to the following page. But,
and I think I do the same thing, and I think I'm on there and I never switch it, and I get so involved with, I don't have, if you have 8 hours to look through X, I guess you could get everything, but you generally see a few things and you move on. And I then think, well, it's too late to check the following one unless one of those people was involved on the For You part. So
yeah. It's a good source of up-to-date information. If there's breaking news, it's on there, and
I do think they have, for better or worse, they have both sides.
Hmm.
You do get, some people I would think they're over the top. Hopefully I'm not, but these other people are.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see they'll make a comment and then you watch the video and you're like, that's not what the person said on the video. I mean,
Right.
if you're going to post something, at least make it what they said. I think they're counting on us being lazy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
we'll just believe
definitely.
what they said and go, must be true. Or maybe
Yeah.
they think we're doing it in church and we can't put the sound on. You know,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
why they would lie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I saw something, a big, someone who's kind of big, posted something about, grandmother going to every Argentina match or whatever. And, this woman is a social media influencer. Like her and her son or her grandson used to make, I can't remember her name. Anyways, but it's like you're putting this story. Where did you get the story from based on her photo? Like she just held up a sign and like where'd that story come from? You're supposed to be reputable. And I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I think, part of it too is the AI stuff. And I
Yeah.
have to admit, sometimes I can't tell, but someone in the comments will say, more AI. And I'm like, was it? Because I don't
Yeah.
know. And they seem to do this on, not only X, but on the reels on Facebook, where there's something
Hmm.
posted and it's like, yeah, I guess you could make AI, you could say you're all over the world. Here I am in
Yeah.
Spain and put it in the background. And
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that. And I'm not sure why people post totally false information. I,
Yeah.
that kind of undermines everyone who's putting out, some kind of discussion.
Yeah.
I really hate that. And I don't want to rely on the regular, whatever you want to call it, the regular mass media,
Right.
because I think Elon Musk is right. We are the news. We should
Yeah.
be able to correct them. We should be able to spread the news. But if
Yeah.
all we're stuck with are ABC, NBC, CBS, and the cable networks, it's like,
Hmm.
do I trust them? I don't think I do, based on just even today reading some of the stuff from last night.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're in a battle with Trump over, the election of 2020, and
Yeah.
it makes no sense.
That was so speaking of that, first off, I got my time wrong, so I didn't get to watch it, and I put like some. I need to stop myself from putting Kalshi bets on or Kalshi investments on what he's going to say during these special announcements. I am terrible at predicting that. I know what he's going to say this week. I know what he's going to say this month. And I do well on those. But if it's a speech, I cannot nail down what he's going to say. But also, I don't bet on the ones that, like, he's going to say, and I'm only going to make a little bit of money off of it. It's like, well, maybe I should start doing that too if I'm going to participate. But anyways, so I missed it. But I saw that there was some controversy on whether the topic should have been like released or not, because we knew a couple days ago that it was going to be regarding election integrity, and then all these news stations chose not to play it.
Right. And it's interesting because I think a lot of the networks were talking about Georgia. I don't think
Yeah.
he mentioned Georgia once, but he
Oh.
spoke about Michigan. He spoke about in general,
Mhm.
you know, uh, illegal citizens being on the rolls, and
Yeah.
so whoever fed the media that it was Georgia, or maybe they. This is hard to believe, but maybe they lied because
Right.
they tend to make up things and say, an unnamed source, which I
Yeah.
hate. It's like, it's an unnamed source because it's you. You can't have yourself as the source.
Yeah.
It seems obvious to me. It's like, you had all the investigators from the Justice Department in
Mhm.
Georgia looking, and it's like, that's what he's going to talk about. So they just
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, you saying I'm going to gamble on it. They gambled. They were
Yeah.
wrong.
And you know what? And if they would have had those things as an option on that betting app, I totally would have taken it. So thanks for saving me. I only bet like $3 at a time, so it's not like I'm losing. I lost $9 on that thing, but yeah, I'm like, okay, so people think he's going to announce that Warnock and Ossoff were fraudulently elected, and he may do that, but that's not what he did last night.
No. And I mean, then they get so uptight about, whichever word he chooses. I
Mm-hmm.
think, he would have said that at any time, I think, because,
Oh yeah.
his position, I believe, is if you're going to have all these mail in ballots and all these additional votes and it's not voted, you're not counting quickly, that
Mm-hmm.
it's fraudulent, whether
Yeah.
you actually prove fraud or not. And it certainly opens you up for fraud. I hate the whole mail in ballot idea. And
Yeah.
everybody that, when you say that, the people that defend it will say, well, Trump voted absentee or so. Yeah, I know the military votes absentee. It's not the same as sending a ballot to everybody who's ever been registered and you get
Yeah.
several at the same address. That's not what it's there for. It is for disabled, for people out of town, for military. And that I'm okay with. I think everybody's
Mhm.
okay with that.
Oh,
The
yeah.
question is,
Yeah.
are you too lazy to vote on election day or even early voting? If you
Yeah.
if you accept early voting, and I grudgingly do, I guess, I'll
You're
say, okay,
right.
at least they're going to a polling place that's manned by actual election judges that are both parties, they're trained. I
Yeah.
So I can go ahead with that one. But
Yeah.
this idea of just taking a ballot and making sure you stick it in the mail by election day, what? That that's silly. I agree with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, I agree. You know, the photo ID thing too. I don't know why more people don't get called out for this being so, to me it would just, it is offensive. They say that married, like, what was it, that chick with the really bad haircut, Alyssa Slotkin, she I hope she doesn't pay people for that haircut because it's ridiculous. But um
Okay,
that's a girl thing.
now I've got to
I
look it up.
Yeah. So she was just saying that like, oh, married women aren't going to be able to vote. Like, they're not going to have photo ID. Like, it wasn't like the easiest thing for me to switch my name on everything, and I'm pretty sure my maiden name is still on, like, an old car loan which has been paid off, or maybe my student loans are updated. No, everything was updated. The least difficult thing to do was to get your photo ID. You basically get that all set up when you apply for your marriage license. So it's not that hard. If you can go to the courthouse to apply for a marriage license and sign the paperwork, you can get a photo ID. My grandma's 86, and she doesn't need a driver's license. She got a photo ID for free in 10 minutes. It's
Right.
not that hard.
It is insulting, and I think you've hit on something. The Democrats who were against this, and I agree with Trump, like, why are you against it unless you want to commit fraud? But the idea, first they said minorities. They went
Mm-hmm.
after that saying minorities couldn't get IDs. And when they start interviewing minorities on the street, the man in the street stuff, they're laughing about it. Like, I have an ID. What are you talking about? Or, do you know where the driver's facility is? Yeah, it's around the corner. I've gone there. And,
Yeah.
it was insulting them. And I think uh, the Democrats decided, oh, we've got to change it. Let's switch to women who are married and how hard
Right.
it is. Even though I think every woman who's gotten married has not had trouble, if they want to change their name, to do
Right.
that. And
Right.
I don't know, it's not like you have to file a petition in court, set a date for the court, to hear your case, go there, and argue it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And I think most people are, even those that are against Trump on every issue, including this issue,
Hmm.
have to admit, like, yeah, that's a BS
Oh
excuse.
yeah.
I mean, and it's insulting. First, you insulted minorities. Now you're insulting married women. And, unfortunately, I think, some people probably believe it that are reading on X or whatever. Maybe they
Hmm.
haven't gone through the process if they're younger. Uh,
Right.
oh, that's going to be very difficult. Or maybe they think there's onerous rules in other states, but every state that I know of, like you said with your grandmother, most give out free IDs if you're not a
Hmm.
driver. Just have to go in
Yeah.
there and verify who you are. So it it just makes
Yeah.
sense to me that you have to show an ID, especially in this day and age. Wherever you go, I just was out of town and going through the airport. Obviously, I'm
Hmm.
surprised. They make you. You've got to show your boarding pass. Now you got to show
Yeah.
here's my license, and they take a photo of you, and it's like I just gave you my license. Why are you comparing it to?
Right.
What does that do? I don't even know why they
Yeah.
do it, but it's like okay, I'll follow the line,
Yeah.
and almost everybody does. And I'm thinking, that's we did that after 9/11, but going into
Hmm.
buildings at the time of 9/11, when they switched every building, you had to have an ID. If
Yeah.
you worked there, you had to, slide your ID on something to get in. You
Right.
were visiting, you had to be on the list. I remember having to, put people on a list, or even, if someone showed up, having to, they call you and say, it's so and so. All right, I'll come down. you
Hmm.
know, they made such a big deal. Well, they've got an ID. Okay, we can let them up. That it doesn't seem like if we're making people get into office buildings, show your ID at Costco to go.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you go to the bank, you show your ID. I don't
Yeah.
see. I don't see why elections aren't as important as all those things. I mean,
Right. Yeah, and that's not even why we got my grandma her photo ID. It was necessary for, I think, to open a new bank account when she moved. She lives across the street from me now. So, like we had to get it for a different reason. So it's like, okay, so how are you living without a photo ID in the first place unless you're completely off the grid? And then should you really be voting then?
well, that's a great question. If you're off the grid, you probably aren't voting. So who
Right.
are we protecting by
Right.
saying
Right.
we shouldn't have IDs? I got to think the people we're protecting are people with false IDs.
Mhm.
Years ago, um, I was doing a development project. I had a title insurance company, and there
Mhm.
was somebody who, to pay them out, I had the escrow. It's like, okay, well, you have to show me an ID. And the guy gave me a license, and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at the license. I'm like
Yeah.
the TSA at the airport here. I'm thinking, is this the same guy? And your name's not the same. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll go by a different name. Well, that's not good enough. I need something with your name on it. I can't just pay you out. And
Right.
it's and that guy couldn't understand now whether he was committing fraud or he did use a different name. I don't
Mhm.
know, but it's just weird that you would have an ID with a different name or have a fake ID. What are you, like 19 trying to get into a bar? Stop it.
Right. Right. Yeah. You were giving me flashbacks of the
Right. That's the only people
yeah.
I know that those are the instances of carried false identification, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
underage and you want to go drink somewhere, or you're you're trying to defraud somebody and get paid out. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so we were talking a little bit about the media and how they chose to present or not air at all Trump's speech last night. And in your book, you talk about how the media treated him, and obviously that's not changed. They're still dickheads about it, but but didn't now part of this announcement, or maybe it was some of the documents that people have been viewing now, wasn't money weren't people paid to run bad coverage of him by China? Is that correct? Or am I not?
I think that's one of the allegations, yes, that
Okay.
there's people that were paid. Now, I haven't seen any documents yet to know what's in there or not, but that's one of the allegations. And, certainly, I think even if you go to X, you'll see some of those influencers. There's
Hmm.
always allegations that they're on the payroll of the DNC. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true, but it does make sense that why are you doing this? You're getting
Yeah.
paid somehow. And especially when you're not willing to look at any other side of the issue but what you're putting out there, and it kind of matches what the DNC is saying. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, because no matter what happens, you just have a pile of people, mostly elected officials. They all have their story down. What's the argument? They were
Hmm.
saying before Trump even went on camera, oh, he's going to, talk about the, fraud in the election, more lies about how he, won even though he lost. It's all been debunked. It's like, how do you know
Yeah.
he hasn't spoken yet? And
Right.
they had enough for individuals to do it, but you know, some of the media outlets decided not to cover it based on that. That I think was it CBS said, because he lies or something. And I
Which they
thought,
don't.
right.
They
I mean,
don't
what
like. Like,
they lied about Russian collusion. I mean, they
yeah.
long after they should have known. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you can go story after story, and whether they're purposely lying or they're just totally wrong. They never admit
Yeah.
it later and say, "Oh, yeah, we were wrong on that."
Right. And there are people that are so reliant on just that source for their information that they're not going to believe it until they hear it from them, which I mean, that's saying a lot to the people who will only believe things from those outlets. I think that they need to figure out how to critically think. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that. That
Well, yeah, and it plays into it. Like I think it was MS Now. I'm
Mhm.
I'm just getting used to their new name. Um,
Yeah,
I'm not sure it matters because I'm not sure they'll be around if they continue the way they are. But
right.
they announced last night that we're not going to cover the president's speech. We're going to watch it for you so you don't have to. Well,
Oh my God.
I'd rather watch it and decide myself what I saw. I'm irritated no matter what network you're watching when they come on and tell you,
Yeah.
well, the president started at 8:05 and he said, and then they go through and say what he said, and I'm like, I watched it. Who's this for? The guy that didn't watch it? It doesn't make sense. I don't need them to
Yeah.
interpret what was said. I can listen myself, and
Hmm.
yeah, you might miss something, but then you'll get enough reports in the newspapers and so forth that, or you'll see it repeated. The video
Yeah.
clip will be repeated. I
Yeah.
It's very, again, it's insulting, I think, to their viewers. Like most of
Yeah.
us weren't going to watch MS Now anyhow, as Trump would say, very poor network, nobody watches
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
no viewers. But it's kind of true. You're chasing away anybody that's interested in the news. What
Hmm.
I don't know what they talked about besides then interpreting it, and I think it was CNN, but I'm not sure, actually cut off during like they left the speech to tell us what was going on.
And it
Why
was a
would you?
25-minute speech. Like,
Right. This was a short one. Some of them
yeah.
can go on and on. I agree. I don't want to hear 2.5 hours of the same thing,
Yeah.
but 25 minutes, that's in my wheelhouse. I can listen for 25 minutes. And
Yeah.
they they cut out of there and then tell people, and I'm thinking, if I'm watching, I'm upset, I'm switching the channel. and
Hmm.
and maybe people do. I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers for the networks or cable yesterday on who watched what, but
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing very few people watched MS Now do nothing or CNN cut out. That makes no
Right.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because they just keep doubling down no matter how much it hurts them. Um, your
Yeah.
book also talks about Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and some of these other late night people. And, we've discussed how late night comedy is basically dead now. And, everyone keeps thinking, oh, it's Trump. Trump's taking them off the air. No, they suck. They're not funny. No one wants to get off work after working outside in the heat and then hear someone just bitch and moan the whole time. Like it's
Right.
not. I mean, you have to at least be funny. People want to escape the real life after a long, hard day of work.
I agree, and I think it's one thing to have a jab here or there, like if someone in the cabinet
Right.
says something. Like I think you could have made fun of Hegseth with the testosterone issue that I think
I
it was
just read
yesterday or
that.
the day before. But you make that joke and you get out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't you don't make that joke and then make 10 more and then bring out your guest and talk about Trump. That doesn't
Yeah.
I mean, I quit watching those shows a long time ago because I thought they weren't funny. And
Yeah.
you know, especially, growing up, I saw Carson, Jay Leno, David Letterman,
Mhm.
they were different. And even though, I mean, Carson, I have no idea what he was as a Democrat or Republican. I don't know what Jay Leno was. And
Right.
Letterman, I know he was a Democrat and he kind of started doing that near the end. But
Yeah.
before that, he was just a goofball. I mean,
Right.
honestly. And it's like, and he was better when he was a goofball. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean, their audiences that do watch them apparently like that. Um, you know, it didn't. It strikes me as weird that you spend so much money to produce a show like the Colbert Report, and then
Yeah.
everybody's surprised it's losing money.
Yeah.
I think it was 40 million they were losing. 40 million. How does it even take 40 million to put a show that bad on the air?
Yeah. Which is just insane. I was talking to somebody else, and I think we had mentioned this last time that when he was on Comedy Central and kind of playing that character, he was funny. And
Mhm.
then once he switched to, I don't even know what station he was on, or he's gone, right? Like that
He's
he had
gone.
his
He
last
was
name.
he was on CBS. Yeah.
Okay. So then he's got all these writers, this huge staff that they're paying to not be funny anymore. Like why did he need such a huge staff? He's a naturally funny person. He just became such a puke. And then yeah,
Yeah.
how much of that was he actually writing? I don't know.
I don't know. And when you've got a staff of writers like that, it's probably someone has to be the shepherd and guide them towards, okay, what's the show? Someone has to be the
Mhm.
head writer. I don't know who that was.
Right.
I know with Jimmy Kimmel, it's his wife, which is ridiculous. I don't think your wife should be a writer on your show. I don't let her go get her own job.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but that's I think the problem to me, and Colbert still doesn't believe it, but anybody who was, conservative or even moderate, who, works hard, goes home, the end of the night, that's probably the last show they're watching is that late show.
Yeah.
And then they're
Yeah.
going to go to bed. Maybe they fall asleep during it, but you got to get through your monologue and maybe depends who the
Mhm.
guest is. I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of us used to look at, well, who's the guest? Who's going to
Yeah.
be the first? Or oh, I hope that's the first guest. Or you might not watch the next one. But
Mhm.
now with all three of them, it's just constant political anti-Trump, and it's spread. It's anti-Republican too,
Yeah.
anti-conservative, and
Yeah.
yes, while you can make fun of conservatives, and there's things that are certainly funny. Yeah,
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's probably more on the other side, at least as many. I
Yeah.
I see jokes about the other side, and I think that's pretty funny. You know, uh,
Yeah.
but another example of that is, it's not in the book because it just happened, but Larry David has a new show on HBO,
Uh-huh.
and I think he's a comedic genius. He had Seinfeld, he had Curb Your Enthusiasm by
Okay.
himself. Those are good shows, but this one is, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's Larry David something the world whatever. The first
Okay.
episode I watched was really bad, very political, anti-Republican, And
Oh.
then the second one was even worse. I thought, all right, I won't watch any more of these. But I put it out on social media, and there were a lot
Mhm.
of people defending it, saying it's the funniest thing they ever saw. Now, they're all to
Really?
the left, but all those
Yeah.
people were commenting like that. And I'm thinking, it's not funny. It's too easy. I look at it
Yeah.
like, well, if I could have done that, or if I could have done that when I was like in eighth grade, then it's not that
Yeah.
funny. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's, it's funny to eighth graders. That's about it.
Right. You know, it, like you kind of mentioned there that there's stuff that there are things that both sides do that are genuinely funny. And I mean, it's probably mean to Christy Nome, but those photos of her husband with the
Yeah,
balloons,
yeah,
like a lot of people were making fun of that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make fun of somebody, it needs to be funny. It's not like insulting someone, it just to insult and not add any humor to it. It's like that's not a joke. Like
right.
what?
And that's a good example of something that was funny. And I know on Gutfeld they
Mhm.
made fun of that. They
Yeah.
made fun of Christy Nome when she wrote in her book about shooting the dog,
Yes. Yes.
and those were funny. Now,
Yeah.
they also make fun of Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker, and so they make more fun of the Democrats, I'd say by far.
Hmm.
But the Republicans who do stuff or that do funny things, they're not immune. They will. I'm sure I haven't seen yet, but they'll probably do something on this testosterone thing
Oh
with
yeah.
with Hegseth. You know, and I think people have, I've heard people on different networks, they're imitating Trump's speech patterns, and it's funny.
Uh-huh.
There's
It
comedians
is.
like that, but it's not in a mean way. It's
Right.
just trying to be funny, and I find funny.
Yeah. Yeah. For years people have been comparing Mitch McConnell to a turtle. So lately there's been jokes like, "Oh, he's on his back somewhere and they just need to find him to flip him back over." Um and
Yeah.
yet, so do you think that image was AI that they released?
Oh, I don't know. I see that idea like that, and I know the
Yeah.
governor of Kentucky. Apparently, he seems to think he's in charge of the U.S. Senate. He's like demanding that Mitch McConnell show proof of life or something. It's like, you're just the governor. You have no say on what Mitch McConnell does. We have a history of senators and representatives who go missing for
Mhm.
various reasons. I think there was a guy in New Jersey who was like checked himself into the hospital for some
Oh
depression. There,
yeah.
there was one woman who was in a nursing home for.
Yes, in a memory care unit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
I can't
and then there,
remember where that was.
obviously there have been people. John McCain's probably the best known, who took extended time off for illnesses,
Mhm.
where they just were not able to come and vote,
Yeah.
and that has been both parties. There's probably because we elect an awful lot of old people.
Right, right.
If we were electing 30 somethings, yeah, they'd probably be running around the halls of Congress. We wouldn't have to worry about
Right.
them. But they might come into work hungover, but they're
Right.
probably,
Yeah.
so they might come in late, but they're probably not taking extended time off. Um, so
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of think, yeah, that the story McConnell's saying is true, and it's he's recovering, and that's him, and
Yeah.
but the problem is now you question everything, right? You go, is it AI?
Right.
It could be.
Right.
It could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks better now than he did, 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
if does
I,
AI do that? They make you look better.
they do. Yeah. They make it kind of like airbrushed or almost a little
Huh?
cartoonish, but in that image, everything looked real except for the paper. Which they say is just from zooming in, but And that's the other problem is, how do I know that what I'm looking at online is the one that's actually the one he posts? Like, I need to actually go to his page, or where, what was it? Yeah, I need to actually go to his page, wherever it was put out, and look
Yeah.
at it and zoom in, because it did look like the words were different. Like, they were not just jumbled, but didn't line up the way they did on the actual newspaper. And I
Okay.
asked Grok if it was AI, and he said no. But then other people said that there was an open AI like watermark on it, like that, not that you actually see, but that. So I don't know.
I kind of look at it though. If people bring up like it's fake, and I know they do that online,
Mhm.
okay, give us evidence. I mean, we're just talking about Trump, where they say everything's debunked, that we've proven there's no voter fraud. No, you haven't. He hasn't proven there is, but you
Right.
haven't proven there wasn't. And so who's it on? And if you're going to say the Mitch McConnell thing's AI, people, then show us why.
Hmm.
Don't just say, oh, it's fake, and it's obviously AI. It's like, well, I don't know. Soon Mitch McConnell will not be in the Senate, so we won't have
Right.
to really deal with him. Um,
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that I was a fan of, because you remember he held up the Supreme Court
Hmm.
nomination of Merrick Garland. When Obama wanted to put,
Oh.
and it made it, he wouldn't approve anything, so it went past the election, and then
Uh-huh.
Trump won, and he was able to appoint a Supreme Court justice. And I always thought, I'm going to have to give Mitch McConnell credit for that.
Yeah.
And even though he did a lot of things after that I disagreed with,
Yeah.
one thing he did in his
Yeah.
career was very good, because Merrick Garland was perhaps the worst attorney general we've ever seen. I mean, this
Hmm.
guy was investigating enemies, was blatantly doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And
Yeah.
that guy could have been on the Supreme Court. And you can't get rid of him then. At least attorney generals come and
Right.
go.
Yeah.
I guess you can get rid of Supreme Court justices if you are is it the Democratic Socialists, that they're DSA, that have this whole plan. They want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to get rid of the U.S. Senate. They want to
Oh, yeah.
they get rid of the president. It would be the House would just pick someone to be a leader. Like,
Yeah.
you're our captain. It's like, I don't. They basically, what's the next step? We want to get rid of the Constitution, because I think
Oh, right. Yeah.
the president's in there, so we can't get rid of that. I don't. We get to elect that person, and while we make a lot of mistakes as voters,
Hmm.
we're still going to keep electing them. I don't. I wouldn't trust the House of Representatives to elect anyone. I mean,
Yeah.
look, they had Nancy Pelosi as their speaker for how long?
Right.
That's
Right.
that's the quality of who they would choose as president. No.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about my sponsors quick. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening, and I need a boost, but I don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brand's pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high-protein snacks for on-the-go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Led Zeppelin and Beatles apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found some items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant, packed with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Harnessing the best nature has to offer, Zevo Life nourishes your body while driving your performance, vitality, and overall well-being. Each serving is a concentrated source of clean, well-balanced nutrition designed to support modern lifestyles, and just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. It's no wonder it's receiving 5-star reviews. Step into a healthier future with a 30% discount and a 30-day risk-free guarantee by visiting zivo.life and using my promo code. To support my show and to receive 30% off your entire order, enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Like, speaking of the DSA, what do you think about what happened with the LA mayoral race?
Well, that kind of ties in that whole election fraud issue.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that Spencer Pratt, when you look at numbers on what he was doing at the polling place, early voting, but then virtually got no votes on the mail-in. I mean, it's like, how does this woman who was third, the councilwoman, all of a sudden shoot up? What, everybody that voted for her voted by mail? It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, that's one you'd really like to be able to take apart. And they always say, well, there's no proof. Well, okay, give me every single ballot. Let me have them. And then I need the list of everybody that voted. And I have to go to every single person right away and ask them, did you send in a ballot? Because we have one. And most people are going to remember they voted or didn't vote. But how else do you prove if there's fraud? Because I would say it's likely when you have all those mail-in ballots, some people are voting for other people, whether, the old way, at least in the Chicago area, with absentee ballots, you could say you're sick, disabled. Yeah, people were voting for their parents or their grandparents. Or they're in nursing homes, and the staff at the nursing home they do the voting in the nursing home, but the actual fraud protection is basically zero. So, the place, whoever owns the place, can give them a piece of fruit, and they've got the vote, for whoever they want. So, this idea, you didn't show fraud. Well, you didn't let me. You've got to give me some documents to do that. And I mean, I think Spencer Pratt seemed to be lighting it up. People, I think they were afraid if it was a one-on-one, he was going to beat Mayor Bass. And, that certainly looks like fraud. And I'm sure I'll get roasted for saying that because you're making it up. But just statistically, there was someone that did an analysis, and statistically, to get that many mail-in votes that are different than what you had at the polling place, it's totally unusual. It's off the charts. It never happens. So that's my opinion.
I always think about the statistics as well, and it's like, okay, so we saw how much of a lead Spencer Pratt had. We saw how much of a lead Karen Bass had, and then you're going to tell me that this 4,000, this batch of 4,000 mail-in ballots had only votes for Nithya Raman, not one for Karen Bass or Spencer Pratt, but none for Karen Bass either. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you, I'm not, those numbers seem to be, the Democrats, when it's Democrat, Republican, the Democrats do get more mail-in votes than Republicans everywhere. But even in elections, over the years, I'd worked on a lot of elections. And, one thing that I noticed, the more I got involved and the higher I was in a campaign, and we get precinct, tallies would come in. It'd be just a strip out of the
Uh-huh.
machine, and then say who won that precinct. And very quickly you could tell whether your candidate was going to win or lose. It
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
went through the whole district or wherever you were, county, that way. It didn't change
Yeah.
much. And, there's a wonderful story. There was a guy making a comeback who was, a little older, and we were at his house, and he was running, and he he said, the first one came in, and
Hmm.
someone brings it over, and he's standing there with me, and I look at it. We didn't win this one. He looks at it. He goes, "We lost." Yeah, I know we lost the precinct. He goes, "No, we lost the election." He knew from looking at one precinct, because it was in the area, his area, that he should have been known in. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, "No, it's over. We lost." And
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Years later, with other people, I'm like, "Yeah, we're not gonna be able to win." No, I didn't do it off of one tally because that's too risky
Right.
unless
Right.
you're the candidate. But you'd start seeing a few. Let's say 10 came in, and like every precinct is showing the same kind of percentages.
Hmm.
We better prepare to concede. We're not going to win this thing.
Yeah.
And that's so. I don't think there's much difference on these, ballots that are mailed in. You're not going to see that kind of swing where someone comes from being totally out of it. Spencer Pratt, I think, election day or night was saying, "Well, at least we beat the communists."
Yeah.
Kind of gloating. And I think most people thought, "Yeah, it's Bass and him. Bass will probably be number one. He'll be two. Okay, fine."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And Raman was like crying and
yeah,
conceding.
yeah, she conceded. I mean, it was like, well,
Yeah.
and what's funny is you look at that and you go, who did it for her? She didn't even know.
Yeah. Right. Right.
If there was
Yeah.
fraud, she didn't know. If
Yeah.
there's a good thing to it.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's yeah. So even if most of those votes, even if 90% of the votes were Democrat in those mail-ins, you would have seen. I don't think it would have changed the outcome. Because of how far behind Pratt she was. So, because I mean, how many of those realistically? Like, I'm not even going to entertain the idea that many people really voted for Raman unless they were like paid to do so and they're a bunch of homeless people. But realistically, wouldn't most of those votes still go towards Karen Bass? It just doesn't.
You would think.
It would have given her a bigger lead, but
Right. And I
yeah.
think that's what Spencer Pratt thought and probably what Karen Bass thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that she probably wanted to run against Spencer Pratt. The numbers in LA for Democrat over Republican, I think it's 5-1. So
Yeah.
of course I'd want to, even though Spencer Pratt says he's not a Republican, the media made him into one. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
I think mostly because he had common sense ideas like the homeless should not be on the street in front of the schools. We shouldn't let people just be shooting up drugs. We have to
Yeah.
clean up this place. I think
Yeah.
most people, he said common sense, and the media said, "Oh, Republican." Like,
Right.
okay, if you want to
Right.
call it that, I got to think there's some Democrat voters that think that's common sense too. Yes, clean it up. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what these. I just feel like California's too far gone, but maybe not. I don't know.
I
We'll
think,
see.
I think it is, but
Mhm.
you would need, like now the governor's race, you do have Hilton running in it, but
Yeah.
that's like 3-1 Democrat to Republican in the state. I don't know. That's a tough win for him.
Hmm.
But if you can't win now, when you've got such problems there, I mean,
Yeah.
besides letting neighborhoods burn down and not fixing them or letting them
Yeah.
rebuild, the
Yeah.
homeless issue under Gavin Newsom, I can't believe that guy even thinks about running for president. I mean,
Hmm.
president of what? Not the country. I mean,
Right. Right.
that's nutty. Maybe some club, like you could be the president of our little club, but
Yeah.
because he did such a poor job, why would we promote him? And maybe that's starting to catch on with people because I saw a poll yesterday where he was, I think, fourth in the Democrat primary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. You know,
Yeah.
Kamala Harris is one, so I'm not sure the poll is great for Democrats either.
No.
But
No.
that's and the guys who probably could win. I don't know if they were even in the poll, but the
Yeah.
like Shapiro out of Pennsylvania, Bashir out of Kentucky,
Hmm.
they Fetterman maybe out of Pennsylvania, but they probably
Yeah.
couldn't get out of a primary. So you know,
Right.
you end up with Kamala, Pete Buttigieg. I forget who the third one is, and then Gavin Newsom. It was like, are you
Hmm.
kidding? But he used to be number one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was.
And
Y- Yeah. Do you
people are probably
think?
looking at that record saying, I don't want him as president, even if you're a Democrat. I know they'll vote for anyone.
Yeah.
The Platner case, where
Oh
you
my
opened up a
gosh.
guy with a Nazi tattoo
Yeah.
and several women saying horrible things.
Yeah.
It finally took. Well, I think it took him starting to lose in the polls,
Uh huh.
where I think it was Collins and him were neck and neck, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we have a woman that we can trust now. She's a Democrat, and
Yeah.
she said that she was sexually assaulted. Oh, well, he's got to
Yeah.
go. I mean, but other people said that he did horrible things, and nobody cared because he was
Isn't
winning.
isn't that funny that like all of the Democrat phrases, they all have an asterisk next to them. Oh, believe all women, but only if they're Democrat.
Right,
Or punch a Nazi unless it's a Democrat candidate.
right,
Like they
right.
just
There's an excuse for their own failures, and the sexual assault one when the Democrat woman came out, they
mhm.
were okay. He's everybody. Bernie Sanders is calling him to tell him
Yeah.
you have to drop out. But the woman before that with the New York Times story, and I think she was the only one that went public. Boy, they
Mhm.
spent so much time discrediting her as a
Yeah.
Republican, as a strategist for Republicans or working for Republicans. It's like, okay, they might go to credibility, but and
Yeah.
I wonder about anybody that comes up with charges that are really old. I don't care
Yeah.
what party they're in, because I don't understand how you wouldn't immediately go to the police and say,
Right.
this guy. I mean, if any of those women thought Platner was going to be a politician,
Mhm.
they've got terrible judgment because I don't know anybody. There's certain people you look at who are smooth and you go, yeah, he's going to run. I know.
Right.
And he might
Right.
be just in college, but you're like, that kid's going to run for something. But Platner, I
Right.
doubt anybody. His own parents probably thought when he said he's running, they probably thought, "Are you kidding? I
Right.
mean, don't do that."
Yeah. Yeah. So you were making me think about the E. Jean Carroll situation. And I noticed that no one's reporting um that she lied, that she did receive money for her lawsuits, and she received money from Reid Hoffman,
Hmm.
a good friend of Jeffrey Epstein's and someone who colluded with other people, friends with Epstein, to take down Trump. And I mean that it's all in the files. There's all this evidence of Reid Hoffman being involved in activity to ruin Trump's reputation. But of course, we're not gonna mention that with the E. Jean Carroll thing.
Right,
It's just
and again, boy, talk about credibility. If that comes up during the trial, although we're in New York, so who knows?
yeah.
But that does kind of throw the whole case. You know,
Yeah.
if not out, it certainly gives everybody on a jury to say, I don't know about this. She
Yeah.
lied. You don't have credibility as a witness lying when they catch you. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it seems like they caught this late, and
Yes.
that's the
Yeah.
problem. It's kind of unfair because it cost Trump 5.6 million, I think.
Mhm.
I know,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
but it'd be interesting if he turned around and sued her for
Right.
fraud or I would think fraud. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of what else you could sue for, but
Right.
you know,
You know, and like in the fact that she said she was wearing a certain dress that hadn't been designed yet,
yeah,
that's okay. Like you got your shit incorrect. Like there's what's
right.
going on here.
I think she had the wrong date. There were like little inconsistencies that often a judge or a jury will say, well, that's hard to remember, which goes to
Right.
my point of like when you say it happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah, if you went to the police right away, you've got on what you're wearing.
Yes.
They take photos. You have then they can remind you when the trial comes up. Hey, this is your photo. I mean, the
Right.
prosecutor goes over all that with you, and you're more credible. And we also know we're getting justice rather than or
Hmm.
at least somewhat of justice. I mean, she could be lying from the start. Sure,
Right.
any woman could say it, but maybe there's medical evidence or physical evidence that you could prove something.
Right.
I This idea, I've always been troubled by that someone can come back 10 years, 20 years and say something happened. And then we have to decide, do we trust all women or do we only trust
Right.
Democrat women? Or do we say what we used to say, you didn't come in time here. You didn't come
Yeah.
forward. And because you didn't come forward and file your case, like everybody else,
Hmm.
lose. It's just like if you had a personal injury of any kind, you don't file it
Yeah.
within the time frame. You can't file it late and go, oh, I just
Right.
got the courage to do it now, or I found out he has money, or he's the president, or whatever. I
Yeah. Right.
you know, and I'm sure some of the people like the Weinstein stuff. You know,
Uh-huh.
I was one of the people too, though, that said, Bill Cosby, because you watch him on TV. The
Yeah.
first one, you're like, get out of here, Bill Cosby. He
Right. Right.
he walks into a room, everybody wants to be near him. Get out of here. And
Yeah.
then you hear the second one, you're like, well, that's concerning. You know, but a third one, you're
Right.
like, okay, my guy Bill might have done something here.
Yeah.
It starts to pile up, and you start thinking, well, you're not going to get a ton of women to come forward and
Hmm.
lie. I mean, it's going to be hard, especially with the
Yeah.
celebrity. I think it's easier with a
Yes.
politician because we're so divided. You
Yeah.
just find,
Yeah.
10 operatives in the one party to do it. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what Bill Clinton complained about, too. I think, these are all political. Well, were they?
Hmm.
We found
Right.
out Monica Lewinsky wasn't, but
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. And then cuz I could see why people wouldn't want to come forward if it's someone that's powerful, but if you like you can still I from my understanding, you can still go to the hospital, get like a rape kit done, talk to police about the situation, but you don't have to press charges, correct?
right. Yeah, you don't have to press charges. I
So
mean,
if you just got documentation, hey, I don't feel like pressing charges right now, but I want to document this in case I change my mind later. I
right.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, they won't want to go, the prosecutor won't go forward if you're not going to cooperate. And,
Right.
but you still have evidence that's been stored.
Hmm.
So, and I think they would try to talk you into pressing charges with the argument, hey, he's going to do this again, which
Yeah.
is probably true. You
Right.
know,
Right.
it's the same way, which I thought not funny but sick. The Tim Walz comment, with the he pardoned him and his two guys on
Yeah.
the committee or whatever they call it, the commission,
Yeah.
pardoned this guy who sexually assaulted I think it was a 10-year-old,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
he was convicted. Walz pardons him, thinking somehow that's going to get him to avoid deportation. He doesn't know Marco
Yeah.
Rubio. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But but then Walz is silly enough to come out and say we're no safer by him being deported. Yeah, we are. I mean, I'm probably no safer, but 10-year-old girls are, and
Yeah.
they're probably the ones that had to be protected there. And
Yeah,
how can you even say that? It, it makes no sense that you'd be on the side of the child molester rather
right.
than 10-year-old girls who, need your
Yeah,
protection.
right. I don't know why. I mean, Walls is one of the biggest dummies in politics. He's got to be. But why would he think that saying that is a would be a good there would be why would there be a good result by saying that?
I don't know. Years ago there used to be this argument about the death penalty, like that it doesn't, and they have these statistics and studies. It
Hmm.
doesn't reduce crime. It doesn't. And I'm like, my argument was, well, it stops this guy from killing anybody else. We
Yeah.
put him in the death penalty. Do other people? I still think if I'm out there murdering people, I'm thinking twice about it if I can get the death penalty. And I can just see anecdotally, you have people who plead guilty and take multiple
Uh-huh.
life sentences to avoid the death penalty. For whatever reason, as humans, we don't want to die, even when we've done horrible things and we're going to spend our life in prison. Maybe
Yeah.
there's like a hope in the back of your head that somehow there's going to be a jailbreak and I'm getting out, or
Yeah.
someone's going to pardon me. Maybe there'll be someone as dumb as Tim Walz, or the
Yeah.
woman. The one woman is it Chevrolet who is running for the House seat in New York, who wants to abolish prisons. I don't know what you would do if you had like a Charlie Manson in prison. If we abolish it, does a guy like that
Yeah.
get out? I I assume
Yeah.
everybody
That's
gets to
insane.
leave. And there's just some people
Yeah.
that can't live among us. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're just hardcore criminals.
I mean, if that were to happen, we would have to what is it? Vigilante justice? Like
Yeah.
we would have to start taking these people out ourselves. Like I don't know any other solution if you're not going
Yeah.
to keep the criminals locked up, you
I
know?
will, it's hard to say, are these just nutty people that are running saying anything knowing it's never going to pass because
Right.
the rest of us are never going to allow those things? But someone's voting for that person.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I've never voted for a candidate that said they want to abolish prisons, and I can assure you I would never vote for someone that said that because that person should be in an insane asylum.
Hmm.
What do
Yeah.
you have you never been to a criminal courthouse and seen some of these people?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
I want them held before their trial. I don't, the fact they let some of these people out is, without bond, no,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. So I can't imagine saying, oh yeah, that's why don't we just open the gates to the prison? It's silly.
Yeah.
Imagine how many gun owners we'd have then if they complained now. Everybody would have.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd
Yeah.
have to.
Yes.
It'd be
Yes,
the
you would
wild,
have.
wild west. You don't know if someone's going to just commit a crime against you.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a rule in California that like for people once they hit a certain age, like you're not they don't keep them locked up. Do you know anything about that?
Oh,
But it's only
I remember seeing a story about that, but I don't recall the facts honestly.
I can't remember all of the facts either, but it was only for certain crimes after a certain age and because like someone had reported, "Oh, this could let the Golden State Killer out." But the Golden
Oh,
State Killer didn't qualify because of certain crimes he was convicted of. Like it kind of has some rules, but it just makes you wonder. Like I mean, because I think the age was like 55, and I mean I know I work with some 62-year-olds that are still repairing water mains right now. Like they can still easily go commit a heinous crime, no problem.
yeah.
So,
I do think, yeah, I think there is some, um, I think what you're talking about is it's like the elderly parole program. You
uh-huh.
have to be a certain age. But yeah, it's like 50 or 55, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And you have to have been in prison for like 20 years, which, yeah, so what?
Right.
That's not long enough based on some crimes.
Yeah.
And then I think they do some kind of check to say, are you, rehabilitated and all that. But I,
Yeah.
you know, I think I would be able to fake that if I'm in prison for 20 years. To
Right.
say, am I absolutely, I'm rehabilitated. It's,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption where, Red, Morgan
Mhm.
Freeman, for years is saying, I didn't know, I'm not. He's not admitting
Right.
it. But eventually he realizes, oh, all I have to say is I'm sorry and I'm rehabilitated and I'll never do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And they let him
Right.
out. It's That's kind of the crazy thing. Um, yeah, only in California. That,
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess everybody has some kind of parole system, but
Hmm.
you know, I always dislike that. When they're letting people out way early, it's like, come
Yeah.
on, they committed a crime. What about the victim?
Right. Right.
It's similar
Yeah.
to the issues we see with the illegal immigrants or with ICE. Now you've got. I saw something today. I think it's up to 8 people have been in, somehow killed by ICE or in some
Uh-huh.
confrontation. And yes, but how many illegal immigrants killed Americans? And
Right.
you said nothing about that. You didn't care, and you caused both sides of that. We'd have, they'd be living probably in their home country, but they'd be living, and the people they killed here would also be living because they never
Hmm.
came here. But you open the
Yeah.
border like it's you're going shopping on Black Friday, and
Yeah.
everybody flies through this, or they used to fly through the store to go
Yeah.
for Walmart or whatever. I'm not sure they do that anymore. It seems
Yeah.
calmed down,
It's
but
it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a
now
weekend long thing now.
yeah, or they've bought everything online ahead of time and they're just getting out of the house and pretending they're shopping. Hey, honey,
Yeah.
I'm going to go. And their husbands or boyfriends are like, yeah, go. I'm watching football. I could care less what
Yeah.
you God,
Yep.
they're just being friends now.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I with that ice thing, certain things it's like, okay, I could see depending on the situation where extra training could be helpful
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, someone died because they tried running somebody over. Like, sorry, you were trying to kill somebody else, like for that one instance. And I guess with the Renee Good, I don't think she meant to run that cop over or the whatever agent over, but she put herself in that situation and was just trying to fuck somebody's day up. And that was the risk that she took when she put herself out there, impeding the operations of federal officers, which is illegal. So,
Yeah, and I think that's what the pro open borders people they forget about. It's like, if I'm in my car and I'm backing out of my driveway or a parking spot, I'm being as careful as I can. I don't want to hit
yeah,
anybody. And sometimes
yeah,
people walk in front of you, or they, Jessica Tarlov of Fox, News is saying they're putting themselves in front of the car on purpose to give them an excuse to
hmm,
shoot the illegal. Well, don't put the car in park. Uh, Anytime I
yeah,
was pulled over by a police officer, I put the car in park. And I shook my head like, what's he doing? Pulling me
yeah,
over. But,
yeah,
you go, okay, I got to get my license. I know what he's going to ask for, license, insurance. I didn't think, you know what, he's walking. I bet you if I take off, that didn't
hmm,
occur to me. Like, let's, burn rubber and get out of here. And I certainly
yeah,
wouldn't think I should run him over. That,
right,
I don't know why people think that's okay. And I think some of it is, you know, we've had, this change in policing, especially in the big cities where they've prevented police officers from pursuing criminals. They'll say you have to
hmm,
call off the chase if it gets to be a certain speed because sometimes innocent people are killed during those chases. And
right,
instead of blaming the guy that took off, they blame the police officer. It's like he was chasing a
yeah,
criminal. they always think, oh, you can pick them up some other time. Really? Is it that easy that we can pick up criminals? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing here, I guess. Yes, we can get them again, but why should we? We're here. You know,
Yeah.
maybe there's a way for ICE to block the car. I don't know, but I'm assuming there wasn't. You know,
Yeah.
if you're on the street, it, I think people, when they're encouraged to fight ICE, this is what you
Hmm.
get. And all those, especially those Democratic politicians that are saying ICE officers are murderers, are forgetting they're the ones that said, let's fight ICE. Let's, show
Yeah.
that. Well, fight them, it means I'm going to run away if I'm an illegal. It's
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's reckless. And it's what's upsetting is the politicians stoking the fire aren't the ones seeing the consequences. It's the people that are getting all caught up in the rhetoric that are seeing the consequences. And I
Right.
guess, people should be responsible for their own actions. Maybe think about things like, what does this politician mean to you? They don't even know you. So why are you just listening to everything that they say? Think of, just use your head a little bit.
Right. It's funny because on social media, a lot of people on the left will say, you worship Trump, or, his followers are like sheep. They follow. It's like, hey, there's sheep on both sides. And
Yeah.
I agree. When you look at somebody who goes out and protests, like we have one of those in Illinois where they
Mhm.
were all out protesting, and yeah, the kings and queens are just throwing the pawns out there in front of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it is like a chess game. Well, you guys get out there and get beaten senseless, or arrested or run over in some instances, or
Mhm.
unfortunately shot. And it's like, well, because you're telling them that they can protest like that. No, you can't. Take a sign,
No.
go stand over on that sidewalk and march in a circle. That's what you can do. You can
Right.
protest like that. You can't, there was a congressional candidate who one of the ICE agents picked up and threw. I think
Yes.
it's a great video. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he kind of just put her on her butt too. Right? Are
yeah,
you talking about the
yeah,
skinny girl that yeah, it's yeah,
yeah.
he did
Cat,
toss her, but it
Cat
was like
Abaduzel. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was
It was funny.
yeah, it was
And I mean, I laughed when I first saw it. Now, she obviously wasn't hurt because she got
right.
up and continued, and she's young. So
Yeah.
it's like they say about babies. She bounced, they say the babies bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like 26, so she bounced. Now, if the agent could have somehow picked me up and threw me, I would not be able to get up. I'd be
Yeah.
dead, on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be in that situation letting anybody pick me up. You know,
Right.
they're obstructing federal law enforcement officials. I don't. There's no other way to put it. And it's those kings and queens that are sitting there saying, "Go get them, go get them," and
Mhm.
they think they're doing a good deed or a good political fight. This is what we're doing, and it's silly, but they put
Yeah.
themselves in harm's way, and you sometimes
Yeah.
end up dead. It's like when people say that about ICE, on the right, you'll have people say, "Well, I don't worry because I don't fight with ICE, or I listen when they, I'm not going to put
Right.
myself in danger." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And
Yeah.
I don't worry about, when the politicians say we've got to protect the public from ICE. No, I'm fine. Don't worry about
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, in the the Alex Preddy thing, I don't exactly know what happened with him, and he does have the right to carry a gun that, some Republicans were like, well, what are you doing taking a gun to a
Yeah,
protest? And it's like, okay, but we're the 2A people. Like, he has the right to do that. He
yeah,
does not have the right to assault a federal agent while holding a gun or while,
right. Don't
with a
grab your
gun.
gun.
Like,
Right,
yes, it's you're
right.
like you can't commit crimes, which protesting, no crime, but fighting with a federal agent, even if the gun's back there, like it becomes illegal. Like that's, yeah.
Right.
Anyways.
And it could look like you're reaching for your gun. And maybe you weren't, but it looks like it because you're putting your hand back there. Well, if I'm the agent, I'm assuming you're reaching for your gun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to get into a battle with the ICE agent, probably keep your gun in the car. But if you're,
Yeah.
but if you're just going to go in a circle or whatever,
Yeah.
or protest across the street, yeah, you can have your gun.
Right. Right. Yeah. But then the minute you start getting physical with somebody, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like the audience to know?
I think, I'd like to come back when that next book is out. But right now, I'm still pushing the first book. It's available on Amazon. DC Swamp Strikes Back, Aaron Burr, Donald Trump, and their similar battles. By me, Dennis A. Brennan. So when you go on Amazon, you have to put the A in there because there's some guy that writes about trains or something that took my name. I'm sure he would say he took his name too, but I'm going to say it's my name. And I have a new website now. I'm going to start putting more articles on there, but that's DennisABrennan.com. And, there'll be announcements there about podcasts and blogs and other things as we move forward. And hopefully as we move forward. And when the book comes out, it'll be on there.
Perfect. All right. I'll make sure to put the website in the show notes for everybody to find. And and the book is very entertaining, especially if you're wanting a good layout of all of President Trump's legal battles and the people kind of trying to do everything they can to not let him become president. So
thank you.
But yes. All right. Well, thank you for being here, and I will keep in touch.
Great. Nice talking to you.